A Me Too fall from grace at the top of one of the world's biggest companies. McDonald's CEO Steve Easterbrook was fired yesterday after an internal investigation found that his allegedly consensual relationship with an employee violated company policy. In an email to McDonald's staff, Easterbrook said, "This was a mistake. Given the values of the company, I agree with the board that it is time for me to move on." But the company's values might not be as strong as he suggests. For the third time in 3 years, McDonald's was sued by workers who say they were sexually harassed on the job last year when 25 new women came forward with complaints. Easterbrook's ouster came just a few days after a member of Congress stepped down purportedly for similar reasons. Representative Katie Hill resigned on Friday after the House began an investigation into her relationship with one of her aides, which only came to light after her ex-husband apparently leaked naked photos to the press.
The mistakes I made and the people I've hurt that led to this moment will haunt me for the rest of my life.
What will also haunt her?
A misogynistic culture that gleefully consumed my naked pictures, capitalized on my sexuality, and enabled my abusive ex to continue that abuse, this time with the entire country watching.
Joining me to discuss are Tina Opie, Associate Professor of Management at Babson College. Nice to see you, Tina. Jen Deaderick is author of She the People, an illustrated history of women's citizenship, and former stand-up comedian in New York City, I just heard. Unbelievable. Jen, nice to see you. Can we start with Easterbrook? When I hear consensual, which all the newspaper articles, press releases, was Lewinsky and Clinton consensual? The guy was the head of McDonald's. Can you use the word consensual in a setting like that?
I mean, I wouldn't say that those are parallel situations.
Why not?
Because I think he was the president of the United States.
He's the president.
Lewinsky is someone who went down, and he often left that unscathed. This is a situation where Easterbrook has resigned. Now, I agree with you. He is her superior. He was, well, I assume it was a she. That's what they said in the media.
Yeah.
But he was her superior, and he has resigned. I do think that's why the rule is in place. You cannot, I don't think, fully know if there was consent when it's a subordinate and a superior.
Well, see, I think there can't be consent.
Yeah.
Despite, but, you know, it seems to me, the whole Me Too connection, if there is one, I don't believe, and I don't have any inside facts, the guy would even be gone were it not for the Me Too movement.
No,
is that a fair statement, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously because, as it said at the top, that because they're having these problems with women coming forward in the restaurants, it would look really bad if they didn't get rid of the CEO or the president. Whatever. Do you
think there can be a consensual relationship in a setting like this? I admit he's not the president of the United States, but he is the CEO of a huge corporation.
I think it's. I mean, it's tough, right? Because that's where you meet people is at work, and it's complicated. But of course, you can't. I mean, it's
not
if someone's your
complicated.
boss.
You're the president of the company. I'm your boss. I can't have a relationship with you because it can't be consensual.
Right. And so and I mean, there are those, the things where you can write out a thing with HR. But yeah, I think that. It's the responsibility of the boss to not do that.
Okay, can we move on to another thing that many people think has a Me Too connection to? Katie Hill. Here's the Congresswoman, the former Congresswoman's final speech this prior Friday.
I am leaving now because of a double standard. I'm leaving, but we have men who have been credibly accused of intentional acts of sexual violence and remain in boardrooms, on the Supreme Court, in this very body, and worst of all, in the Oval Office.
If she's right and there's a double standard, and I think it's pretty hard to deny that there is a double standard. We're talking Kavanaugh, Trump, both credibly accused. Why'd she resign? By the way, it's not a violation of House ethics to have a relationship, even though it's obviously ill-advised, with a campaign aide. It is a violation to have it with a legislative aide, and she says she never had one with legislative aide.
Right. I mean, it's hard to know without being her lawyer to know what choice she should have made. But I mean, I think that there is an attempt for the Democrats to be as clear as possible about it. And because of what we're facing with the Republicans, what we're facing with the guy in the White House and all of that, I mean, to me, when I see the story, it's about an abusive husband who took revenge on her because she left him.
Doesn't it drive you nuts when they call it revenge porn? I mean, she has a relationship with a woman. He takes a photograph, and her husband allegedly. She takes a photograph of it, and all of a sudden becomes porn, which right away reflects negative, as if she did something wrong, as opposed to
him.
He did something.
And he wanted pictures of her with this woman, and then he wanted her hurt afterwards, and so he used them. And so it was all about what he wanted and his feelings.
By the way, Massachusetts is one of the only states in the country has not made the so-called revenge, whatever you want to call it, illegal, even though the governor and lieutenant governor have filed legislation. Is this a Me Too fallout kind of thing as well?
I don't know if it is. I mean, the way that I think about it is this was definitely a domestic issue between partners where he was spiteful and maybe have even engaged. You said it's not illegal in Massachusetts, but in other states it might have been considered illegal. Right. The unfortunate thing here is that there is physical, there are pictures that is evidencing this. Do we have pictures in the other cases?
Right.
I don't know. I mean, because some people would say that it's not the same thing as the other cases you've mentioned because there was not sufficient evidence
but we have pictures,
to
though,
legislate those cases. Now, you know
but we
how
don't
I
have
feel.
pictures of her doing the illegal thing. We have her pictures with the campaign aid, right? Not with
well,
the
she
legislative
denies that she. Well, it's not illegal under any circumstance. The unethical thing,
right,
if it was a.
And that's what I disagree with this because if there's no pictures of the illegality, then I'm wondering what in the world is going on. I mean, yes, no one wants their personal pictures on air and for the public to consume. Period. It's unfortunate that she resigned when, in fact, there was no evidence.
Well, maybe it's a zero tolerance Me Too kind of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, is that not possible?
I don't know.
I think it's a little of that. I think there's a. I mean, I don't. It's like it sort of baffles me that she felt like she needed to resign. Maybe it was more that she was so freaked about the idea of all these pictures going out.
Or maybe she had a relationship with the legislative aide, and the deal with Pelosi was, we're not going to pursue it to get out of here. Now, in light of the fact that I learned about 10 minutes ago that you were a former stand-up comedian, you are the perfect person for this. Here's Kelly Bachman, a stand-up, calling out Harvey Weinstein at an event for comedians in a club in late October in New York City. Here it is.
It's our job to name the elephant in the room. Do we know what that is? Yeah, it's a Freddy Krueger in the room, if you will. I didn't know that we have to bring our own maze and rape whistles to Actors Hour. No? No? Oh, shut up. Yeah. This kills at group therapy for rape survivors.
I am so with her. It's insane. Harvey Weinstein is apparently sitting there with a couple of his friends or associates, and his trial's supposed to start in January. Was he with women, too?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Which drives me crazy.
So do you have a problem with that?
With him sitting there?
No. Do you have a problem with her?
No,
calling
she was
that?
great.
And by the way,
and
after
she's
she
funny.
did the routine, she went over his table and starts giving him
they
face to
booted her
face.
out of the club.
Yeah.
First of all, she's really funny, and so I'm laughing watching it even again. No, I mean, it's horrifying that they had him there and that they expected women to perform in front of him was just gross. And then I love that, like, some guy who performs after her says, but this, he's the director of, or the producer of Good Will Hunting, as if like, oh, well, in that case.
It's
nothing against Good Will Hunting.
Are you okay with Bachman's behavior?
Yes, I am. I mean, I wasn't a stand-up comedian like Jen. I did stand-up comedy a few times. I was really upset at the people heckling her. I think that that's totally inappropriate. I mean, it would be a whole different situation if Weinstein had apologized, had admitted to what he did, said, I'm going to get therapy and help myself and maybe go away from the public eye. Has he done that? He's hiring private investigators and having people threaten individuals. So I'm with her. I think that it's necessary. I think it was appropriate.
We still got Louis C.K. still performing. You still got, I mean, the comedy world, the guys.
Louis C.K., three of us have had this discussion. Louis C.K., and I'm surely not defending him, so don't send email, is not Harvey Weinstein.
No.
Can we agree?
No.
Okay.
But there is a certain broiness to the comedy world.
I agree with that.
Not the guy. I mean, I knew lots of great guy comedians who were very supportive of me and stuff, and I don't want to say that they're all terrible, but
except we will mention one comedian who is in jail, who's Bill Cosby. So we can talk about the intersection of race and sex and other things.
He could be out in a year and plus.
Yeah, which I'm not necessarily for either.
And by the way, I want to thank you for agreeing to perform stand-up next time you're on the show.
I
really appreciate that, Jen. Thank you. We're really looking forward to it.
Absolutely.
And you as well, of course.
Yeah, not happening.
I'll do some
Tina Opie, Jen Deaderick. Great to see you both.